Okay, just reporting from the side of the road here in Harlan, Iowa, as a burst of snow has hit us. It's been snowing for an hour or so. I don't know, maybe an inch, but it's blowing around. So driving back from Avoca, I got this footage, and you can see that with the snow blowing around, the visibilities are really low on the highway. Now here in town it's not as bad, but once I got into town, it's a little more slippery and sure is beautiful out here. 16 degrees right now, which is weird because I don't feel that cold at all with our temperatures below zero for 3.5 days. This is actually kind of warm. It's wild what you can get used to. But the wind is supposed to increase tonight. The snow should end by 8 o'clock. But as the winds pick up, we're going to have snow blowing around and drifting over the roads again. We'll be back below zero by morning. Wind chills 20, 25 below zero. And then tomorrow we barely get above zero. And Saturday morning temperatures around 20 below zero with wind chills about 40 below zero. But it's not going to last 3.5 days like our last bout. So as cold as it's going to get, it's not going to stay that way. And we actually have a warm-up coming. So that's the scene here in Harlan, Iowa as the snow continues to fall. Let's send it back into the studio, and Mike has your national forecast. Mike? Thanks a lot, Mike. You stay warm and safe out there. Oh man, it was so much fun driving home today. You know, it's snowing hard right now. It's beautiful. It's just right outside that window. Very picturesque. I love it. I really do. But let's get into the forecast for the rest of the country, and we'll take a look at the surface for today. And we do see that cold front is now pushing south into the Texas Panhandle, also eastward into Illinois. Behind that, we're getting the snow here in Iowa. Earlier today in northeast Nebraska, actually still coming down in eastern Nebraska and eastern South Dakota. Behind that, most of that snow has now ended for western South Dakota into Montana. However, we do see rain for the south and a little bit of a mixture, maybe some ice thrown in for Tennessee, so watch out for that. And then the Ohio Valley, the snow, we're going to send it your way. How about that? So all the way from Michigan down through the Ohio Valley, West Virginia, into Pennsylvania and New York. And then that's heavy snow off of Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and Lake Michigan as well. Tomorrow, that cold front presses all the way through Texas, and they have actually freeze watches out for the southern tip of Texas, and the cold air settling in behind this front for the Midwest. We're going to be back below zero, as you heard me say earlier, and our wind chills are going to be very cold as the snow gets heavy in West Virginia, continues heavy off the lakes, especially in northern Ohio and down towards South Bend, Indiana. And then the Northeast gets in on some of this snow as well. Meanwhile, back in the Pacific Northwest and along the California coast, could see some heavy rain, northern California coast. And that changes the snow, of course, as you get into the Sierra Nevada of California. Some heavy snows for the mountains of Oregon and Washington. And eastern Washington, also looking at some freezing rain mixing in with that. And of course, the Columbia River Gorge as well. And perhaps, hopefully not near Portland. This looks more like Cascade Locks. So Portland, you know, you've been an ice skating rink. You know, some of my friends that still live there posting their stuff on Facebook. It's been very slickery and very pretty. But, you know, if you had no power, that's no fun. And hopefully that'll come back to you soon. Saturday, we're looking at most of the action in the west now with a pretty good storm coming in. Rain along the coast, snow as you get further inland mountains and east of the Cascades. Freezing rain continuing Columbia River Gorge and into Yakima and other parts of eastern Washington. And then as you get, again, around the Great Lakes, we continue to see snow. So let's go through it on our GFS model. We're starting with basically what's happening right now. And here's the snow coming down. I'm right there. And it's heavy right now. We were expecting 1 to 3 inches. We're pretty close to 3 now. And I think it's going to snow into the evening. So maybe we'll exceed expectations. I'm good with that. And then snow again. This snow will be moving eastward. We'll show you that here in a second. Watch out for that little bit of ice here in parts of Tennessee, even in northern Mississippi, with rain further south, rain in Florida, and here's the mess in the Pacific Northwest with that ice coming down in the Columbia River Gorge and up near Seattle. So watch out for that. Snow in the Cascades, of course. And still, lake effect snow. There's a guy I watch on YouTube. He walks around in the lake effect snow in Buffalo. I think he said last night he said they had 4 feet so far. So it's crazy. I don't know if that's really not that unusual for them, right? Look at this cold air just pressing southward. You see all these blue lines and our patch of snow moving eastward into Illinois, northern Indiana, parts of Wisconsin, also Missouri getting in on the action. This is midnight tonight right there. So snow ending in Iowa, increasing in West Virginia, in Kentucky, also parts of Tennessee and the Ohio Valley, rain further south. And then Pacific Northwest mess continues, but mostly rain along the Washington coast. As we go through the day tomorrow, the cold air settles in over the Midwest as our patch of snow continues eastward. So now we're getting into all of Pennsylvania, all of New Jersey, all of Delaware, most of Maryland, West Virginia. You're getting some heavy snow at times. Ohio, some snow into New York, and then light snow moving into Idaho and northwest Montana. And my folks have some snow as well from this storm. So as we get into Saturday now, this is midnight Friday and into Saturday morning, things seem to clear out nationwide, but this cold air is going to be a big deal for some. And then rain in California again, heavy at times, especially in the northern part of California near the coast, and heavy snow up here in the Sierra Nevada. And then things kind of quiet, except for the lake effect snow. The lake effect snow machine still turned on. It's that very cold air flowing across the lakes that are starting to freeze, but they're not frozen yet. And so as we go further into the weekend, we see the rain mainly along the Oregon, Washington coast, California too. And now we're starting to see a little bit of ice here as we get into, let me go to midnight, Sunday night. And this is ice baby along the Red River, southern Oklahoma. That's pretty close to Dallas. That's heavy ice and sleet. And then thunderstorms approaching Austin and San Antonio. And then scattered showers and thunderstorms even in Northern California with light snow otherwise. And as we get further into Sunday, you see that ice moving northward into Missouri and Kansas with some heavy thunderstorms, heavy rain with some thunderstorms moving into the Houston area, Shreveport, and also Arkansas. So watch out for that. Some heavy rainfall and some pretty good storms. And then the ice is always a problem if it accumulates too much. So, just be aware, Illinois, Missouri, we're at Monday afternoon here. And some heavy rain in Southern California, San Diego back to LA, and along pretty much the entire West Coast inland, it's snow. And still, I'm trying to see, little lake effect snow, not much, as we get into the end of Monday, approaching Tuesday now. And we see another storm getting its act together here. So some heavy snow for eastern Iowa, northern Missouri, into Illinois and Wisconsin, lighter snow in Michigan with a thin layer of ice here too, and then showers and storms trailing behind that, moving through Louisiana, Mississippi, and now Alabama, and the rain exiting California, moving into Arizona with some snow up in the Mogollon Rim up towards Flagstaff. And let's see, as we continue into next week, heavy snow, Wisconsin, Michigan, rain coming up here as we're starting to warm up now, and we'll show you those temperatures, high temperatures early next week. But this is a pretty good snowstorm if this comes exactly true. Remember, this is our computer model. The further we get out from the present time, the less certainty there is. But these are some trends to watch out for. And I'm just going to keep this going because we're supposed to get rain here, they were talking. But there's our rain moving in, but it's more snow. This is Thursday, the 25th at noon. So that's quite a ways away, but we'll keep an eye on that. And then some heavy rain down here along the Texas coast, Houston into Louisiana, and rain along the mid-Atlantic. Craziness. So that cold air is spilling in behind this snowstorm that's happening outside my window right now. It's still dumping snow. So these are the lows tomorrow morning. And we're talking negative single digits here in Iowa, also Nebraska, South Dakota. And then you get negative teens into much of Montana and Wyoming. And then negative single digits, and well, I'm going to say negative single digits in northern Kansas. And then single digits, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois into Wisconsin. And then we see the teens all the way down to Lubbock, Texas, and eastward to Indianapolis and also up in Michigan. So these are the lows. Now, when you throw in the wind, yeah, negative 20 something here in Iowa and eastern Nebraska into South Dakota and southern Minnesota. So that's the bullseye of the coldest air. And with the wind, it's going to be just really cold tomorrow morning. We have wind chill advisories. Go figure. So still very cold, though. Negative teens, South Dakota, North Dakota. Montana, negative 20s as well with that wind. Negative teens for Illinois, Missouri into Kansas. And then single digits all the way down to almost Lubbock, Texas. Looks like Dallas around 9 with the wind chill. So very cold. Now Saturday it gets even colder. So Saturday we're looking at, hang on, I had to decline a phone call. Saturday actual air temperatures in the negative teens and 20s here in Iowa and South Dakota. And so very cold. And that cold air goes all the way down to the Gulf Coast, all of Louisiana below freezing. We have freeze warnings out for Jacksonville, Florida. You see 20s throughout Georgia and Alabama, teens in northern Alabama, Mississippi in the teens, 20s South Carolina and North Carolina, and up the coast. So this cold air is not going to stay, but it's going to make its presence felt for a couple days. But there's hope coming. But before we get to that, let's turn on the wind chills with that. And we're talking negative 30s in some parts of Iowa and almost negative 30 for parts of eastern Nebraska. And is that a negative 40? I think it is for Sioux City, Iowa, minus 40 on the wind chill. Gosh, that's crazy. And teens in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, single digits northern Mississippi with the wind chill and nothing in Nashville. So very cold air, but I do have some good news, and I did save it for last. Monday's highs, are you ready? Are you sitting down? Everybody above freezing except northern Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, North Dakota, and parts of Montana. And then, of course, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine staying below freezing. But high temperatures on Monday. Looking pretty good. 60s return to West Texas. 50s for much of Texas. How about that? 50s in the south. 60s Louisiana. You're welcome. Even 40s in Kentucky and Tennessee after the snow that they've had. They'll take it. So they get to thaw out a little bit. So that's the good news that's coming. There will be a warm up for a while. And so we'll put a little bit of a pause on winter or get back to what's average for winter or slightly above. It's been so cold. I was standing, I think I said it earlier, I was standing out in the cold. It's like 16 degrees and I didn't even have my coat zipped up because we'd been below zero for 3.5 days. It actually felt not bad. Kind of crazy what you get used to. Anyway, that's my update for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe. Of course, trying to grow this channel. Started it on January 1st. And, we're just going to keep plugging away. Another forecast coming your way tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Have a great day. Bye.